Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson, and you are watching my 100% walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for Nintendo Wii. This is one of the final battles of the game, the Horde. So our goal is to get all the way down to the bottom of the area, steadily working our way around because we have this barrier in our path, so we can't just jump over it, and, well, not without breaking the game anyways. It is technically possible, but I'm not going to explain how to do that, obviously not for this video anyways. This is a regular walkthrough. So legit! So for this battle, we have a ton of Bokoblins that are running towards us. Now these runners are actually, they don't defend against attacks at all, so they die instantaneously. So a single hit will actually defeat them. So you can totally just use spin attacks, is probably the best way to deal with them. Otherwise, you can just run past them because they just run towards you, and after you get a certain distance away from them, they'll stop following you. So if you run all the way to the points where these barriers go up, then you can fight the next batch of enemies, and only a couple runners will still chase after you at this point. The rest of them will be stuck up higher on the path, so you don't actually have to worry about them at all. So right now I'm going back and just defeating those guys real quick. But otherwise, we just have these Bokoblins here for this particular section to deal with, and these ones, even though they have helmets, and they do defend against attacks, they don't actually have the monster horns. I think usually the ones with helmets are the ones that have the monster horns and can summon more. So these particular ones don't, although we do have some of that variety later. So these guys, my biggest recommendation would probably be to just use spin attacks, and then otherwise you can back up and use Skyward Strikes. Now, one interesting observation about this type of Bokoblin is that these type, even though they do defend, most of the time when you hit their defensive stance, you'll actually stun them for a moment and they'll be vulnerable to attacks afterwards. I'm not really sure, this is the only fight that it does that for. Regular Bokoblins don't act that way. But yeah, all the Bokoblins in this particular fight are a little bit more easy mode. So because these Bokoblins all don't really have any sense of self-preservation, bombs are actually a pretty good way of dealing with them. You can set down a bomb and then lure all the Bokoblins into the explosion, such as all these Bokoblin runners that are throwing bombs right here. You can lure the Bokoblins into the explosion and then let them die, or you can walk into the explosion yourself for extra cool points. Of course, if I really wanted to be cool, what I should be doing is looking away from the explosion at the last second, right? This also brings up an interesting point. You can actually blow yourself up on purpose, because Bokoblins often drop recovery hearts, and a bomb does 1 heart of damage to you, and you can kill a lot of enemies instantaneously with a bomb explosion. However, the timing on it makes it kind of awkward, so if you lay down a bomb, slash it with your sword, they all blow up, and you get a heart back, so you don't actually miss out at all. So it's actually the best damage you could possibly do is actually to blow yourself up on purpose, which is kind of a weird thing to wrap your mind around. The double-edged sword technique. But yeah, like that bomb that blew up, I was trying to lure the Bokoblins into it, accidentally hurt myself, but that killed 2 Moblins, which is crazy. Those guys are actually kind of a pain to deal with. I'm not even sure. I don't think it normally kills them in 1 hit either, normally. I think it takes a couple bombs, but they're all really weak for this particular fight, which is weird. But yeah, I will say that bombs are generally the best area damage you can do in Skyward Sword, and in fact, I put together this rather elaborate technical flowchart for you to help you wrap your mind around this concept. But yeah, for this section, I recommend killing the regular Bokoblins first, and if you use bombs, then ideally what happens is you actually kill some of the Moblins at the same time. So then all you have to do is just take out the stragglers and it's fine. Super easy. Up ahead, we have a whole bunch of Bokoblin archers. Now, these guys, you don't really have to worry about them too much. It's really the ones later on, because they're shooting at you while you're at the next section, at the next checkpoint, and it's pretty awful. So you can kill all of them along the way, or you can just run past them, but the final ones, you're going to have to worry about them, and you might even want to, like, backtrack a little bit and take out the final bit of Bokoblin archers, whatever you want to do there. Something else interesting to know, though, is that if you are low on arrows, you can actually just hang back a little bit at this point and wait for the Bokoblin archers to shoot at you, and then pick up the arrows that get stuck in the ground. So just let them shoot at you on purpose and pick up the arrows. And part of the reason for that is these checkpoints keep getting harder and harder, so if you can get full on arrows for the earlier portions, it makes the later ones easier. It just kind of depends on what you want to do. Again, with all these guys, pretty much if you just run forward like crazy, then it's actually like, alright, it's not too bad, but if you're trying to kill everything, then you might want to have arrows. It just kind of depends on what you want to do. And like I showed earlier, like arrows are pretty good against those Moblins too, so it's a nice alternative for that as well. So if you have more Moblins you're going to deal with up ahead, then you might be good to have arrows stocked up for that. The further down you go, then there are more Bokoblins. They start getting tighter and tighter packed, and they can actually surround you, which is kind of rough. If you start running towards them and they're starting to surround you, then just roll through them and you'll squeeze through them a little bit easier. It's not like guaranteed. There's a total wall of Bokoblins. You can't really roll through them. They totally will trap you. But as long as they're still like in the midst of surrounding, you can totally roll past them. Now, at this next section, we have a different type of Bokoblin. I'm not actually sure what this one has a name. Someone could Z-target it and ask 5 for information and see if it has a unique title like Bokoblin Assassin or something. Let me know in the comments. That'd be cool. Anyways, this particular Bokoblin, as you can see, this blue one, what it does is it will charge towards you. It, like, holds it sort of above its head, and then it charges towards you. I'm not sure if you can shield bash it either. I think I usually just backflip away from it or sidestep or something. So that is the easiest way to deal with them. You can also slash them or shoot them with arrows, because they always run away from you first before they actually start attacking. So they run away, they're quite at a distance, so using the bow works great. But only do that after you have defeated some of the other Bokoblins first. There is one other type of Bokoblin here, and they're not like the typical Bokoblin leaders. Like, these ones actually have horns and they will summon more Bokoblins. However, they run away, so they actually don't like attack you at all. They just keep running around in circles. And something else to know, if you defeat them, they will drop the horn and another Bokoblin will pick it up. The easiest way to deal with them actually is to steal it with the whip. This will prevent them from, I mean, you can eventually just kill them all, but they keep summoning, so it's good to get rid of them after a little bit. I'm actually not sure if they, like, normally what it does, I think summoning doesn't actually work perpetually in Skyward Sword. I think it actually just has a set number of Bokoblin that they can summon or something like that. Or maybe it really does just pull, well, no, it does make them appear. They're not there originally. So anyways, yeah, I think it's just like a set number of Bokoblin they can summon, so I think at a certain point they stop actually summoning them, even though they keep blowing the horn. But yeah, if you want to deal with them quick, just to avoid getting extra Bokoblins, then stealing the horn first is the way to go. By the way, using the Stamina Potion Plus in combination with the Potion Medal gives you infinite stamina for pretty much the entire duration of this fight, so you can totally run past a lot of these Bokoblins, but you can also just use spin attacks for days, and it's awesome. So it's super powerful. Like, there's a couple different points in the game where it'd be kind of helpful. This is like the most helpful place you can possibly use it, basically. So yeah, recommend that. Stamina Potion plus Potion Medal. So with this next section, we have some Stalfos. Honestly, not that big a deal. I think, honestly, there's only 2 Stalfos in the regular mode. I think in Hero mode there's like 3 or 4, I want to say off the top of my head. But there is definitely more. So anyways, they're not too big of a deal to deal with. Honestly, bombs are probably your best bet to lower their defenses, but spin attacks are your friend for Stalfos. You can defeat them very easily. So that's actually the last section. If you want to work your way carefully, you totally can, and one thing to watch out for is there is another one of those blue Bokoblins up ahead, so just be sure to take care of it very carefully. Like I was saying earlier, because they run away, it makes it really easy to use either Skyward Strikes or the bow to take care of them as well. So they're at a distance, and that makes them pretty easy. Like, they're totally in your line of sight, so it's not that bad to defeat them that way. But again, just make sure you only do that if you've already taken care of a lot of the other Bokoblins first, so they're not in your face. This is actually the last section. There is a couple Moblins up ahead. You can totally skip past them. The one other comment I will make is there's a ton of archers at the end, so they'll probably hit you. You can weave back and forth. You might want to save your stamina. Like try and not use stamina when you're in between the waves of arrows, and then start using your stamina again so you can dash in between their attacks. Defeating all the enemies along the way will guarantee that you have like a little bit more health for this next battle, so that's one of the reasons why you would want to, is because they drop recovery hearts along the way, so it would allow you to have as much health as possible for this next fight. At the very end, we have some more regular Bokoblins. Now these ones, again though, none of the Bokoblins in this, well, none of the regular Bokoblins anyways, will actually defend against your attacks, so these ones don't either, so you can totally just keep attacking like regular and use spin attacks just for the best way to do this. Now, I was messing around with bombs here a little bit just because I wanted to for a change of pace, but I probably should have just kept using spin attacks, really. For this particular recording, I did decide to just be a little more careful and like set down the bomb and try and just avoid damage entirely. It didn't actually work out that well. I'm not even sure how many I killed, but I don't think I actually got very many at all. I think the best method for this, if you're going to slash it with your sword, would be to like set it down, then back up a little bit, and then scooch forward and then smack it. Like, so you dodge their first attack, and then that would allow you to like get enough breathing room that you could do it. Also, it would kind of gather them up a little bit more anyways, because when they're getting close to attack you, they're like they're all like clustering up, I guess, you know? So they're stunned for a moment and they're not actually walking. Alright, Ghirahim 3, he's gone all Metal Mario on us, so we need to go ahead and push him back, but he weighs quite a bit, and his attacks are a lot more, they hit a lot harder, but also the time between his attacks and defense is significantly shorter than the previous battles we've had with him. For this first phase, our goal is to knock him off of the platform, and meanwhile he's trying to do the same to us. You do want to watch out because he can dodge left and right, and also he counterattacks every once in a while, so when he's getting ready, so his animation changes from a defensive stance to looks like he's about to punch you, then you want to back up or shield bash to avoid that. So my recommendation is don't commit to attacks too thoroughly, like be like whack, 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 kind of like that, and then if he looks like his animation changed, like right there you saw he like was shaking his fist, and that means he was about to attack. So now he's holding out his hands. This works just like when he was using the red attacks with his hands before. You just need to make sure you don't actually hit one of his purple hands, otherwise he will counterattack. So just attack him from any other direction and you'll be fine. Each time you knock him down a platform, you need to perform a fatal blow. So to do this, all you have to do is target him and then shake the nunchuck and the Wiimote at the same time to land on top of him. So you can actually do this from above too. You don't have to jump down to the platform below to even do that. You can just do it immediately. So like I say, my advice for this phase is just to take it kind of slow. So just attack and then wait to see what he's going to do. And ideally what you do is you actually like alternate back and forth between left and right strikes, because each time you do that, it pushes him in that direction. He will just steadily spin in like away from you. So if you're not careful, you can actually like, if you keep like slashing to the left over and over again, for example, then you could actually make him like spin around and then he'll get behind you, and it can be pretty bad. But yeah, that's the big advice for this phase, is just take it slow, because if you're just mashing like crazy, then he might counterattack real quick and you're not ready for it, and then he'll hit you. So just as long as you're paying attention to what his animation looks like, you shouldn't have a problem with that phase at all. For this second phase, Ghirahim's regular defenses are completely impenetrable, so you can't actually hurt him at all. What you have to do in order to get past his defenses is to counterattack him. So you can do this by either shield bashing his regular melee attacks, so like when he's right close to you, just shield bash, and then what you need to do is while he's stunned for a moment, you have to stab him through the heart. Regular like sideways slashes and stuff don't work. You can only harm him with stabs. So make sure your sword is calibrated, otherwise you could have a real problem with this. So shield bash, stab, and then just chase after him, keep doing that. His other attack that he'll do, though, is this like whirly beam blade thing, and you can also reflect that with your attacks, but the easiest way to do that is definitely when you're far away. Also, just keep note of the fact that he actually attacks from different directions with it, so there's a horizontal and vertical attacks with it. Now, when he uses these kunai, they're actually kind of hard to avoid. You pretty much have to keep using side jumps is kind of the best way to avoid those. Or you can run, you can stop targeting and just dash instead would be the way to do this. So Ghirahim will also use Skyward Strikes. He does this when you're far away, pretty much. And the thing to watch out for with this is when you reflect it back with your sword, then he can change the orientation on you. So it might switch between, it'll alternate between vertical and horizontal slashes. So just watch out for that. So you have to use the correct direction in order to reflect it. For the third and final phase, Ghirahim has this big sword that is made of triangles. Oh no! Anything but that. So the deal is that he will defend if you attack him from any which direction, but the thing is that the first attack will always hit part of his sword. Stabs don't work anymore, so he's completely defending against that. You have to break through the sword first, and how this works is if you pick a direction, you'll break part of the sword, and you need to break it all before he defends or before he hits you, and the goal is that you need to just keep attacking the sword from one of the, like, short directions. If you attack either the hilt or the end of the sword, then he will counterattack. So you need to attack one of the other sides, and you do it before he recharges the sword. So the goal is to break the sword's heart, and once you do that, then he'll be vulnerable, and again, you just want to stab him just like normal. And kind of the two techniques for that is either attack left and right really, really, really fast, or just do it a little bit slower and then only attack the one side. So it doesn't really matter. Honestly, you can actually break both sides pretty easily and you get them completely exposed. And as long as you're doing them kind of in quick succession, like bam, 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 then it's kind of impossible for him to retaliate and he won't recharge it. All right, so that's how you defeat Ghirahim 3. That's the end of this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy these following cutscenes, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Need to stop whatever it is you're doing. Soldiers, get over here. Go against the tide. You can do it. I believe in you. I just don't believe in the AI. Right. I believe in you, I just don't believe in the AI. Yeah, that's a good quote. It's true, though. Like,